please.
Sorry about the delay. We practice went a little long. Try to make sure they didn't have a repeat of last week. So we're going to do it over again until we get it right. Took a few drills, a few minutes longer than we planned because I told them last week on my end I'm going to hold them a little bit more accountable, and I think they're seeing that I'm serious about it. So thought the defensive effort in practice picked up because we're not having a repeat of what we had last week. So I think you'll see a lot better effort out of the group starting the game out. We talked about it as a team before, like some leadership, some accountability, and then we got to develop the right habits. You know, we need some leadership on the team to make sure that everybody's locked in, playing hard. We need some accountability when you're not, and then develop the right habits in practice. Today we practiced a little longer than I planned because we had to get it right. So we're a little late, I apologize. But this is a very good Vanderbilt team, as evidenced by the weekend game against Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee's a really good program. They play hard, they're tough, and they got a good win. So, you know, I would think that would have got our guys' attention. I believe they're number one in the country in points per game off turnovers. So, huge game for us in taking care of the ball, not giving them points off turnovers. You know, they swipe at the ball. They get quick guys. They get guys that are tough, physical. They play hard. So that's number one, is taking care of the ball. On our defensive end, you know, they've got guys that get downhill. They do a great job generating, you know, shots in the paint, and we got to keep them out of the paint. So, you know, we're kind of challenging our guys individually, one-on-one defense to kind of pick it up. So, you know, I a lot of respect for Coach Byington. He did a really good job at all the other schools he's been at. You know, I watched, you know, Brian and Charlie last year in that league, and he came from that league, and he's done a good job. So he's kind of brought the same system to Vandy. I think they had the number 2 ranked transfer portal class. They signed 11 guys, so he's kind of flipped that entire roster over. You know, they got veteran guys who've scored a lot of points at other places where they've been. So, you know, Sears is leading the conference in assists with 7, and then Hogard's 4th at 4.6. So he's good. You know, I've spent 11 years in Michigan. I've watched a lot of Michigan State through the years. Hogard's, you know, had a really good career at Michigan State, so well aware of what he can do. But, you know, Sears has really been moving the ball well, you know, as evidenced by leading the SEC in assists. You know, if you look at last year at this point versus this year at this point, he's got 22 more assists than the first 18 games last year, while only scoring 15 points less. And he's figuring out how to score and get assists both. So, you know, I'm sure if his scoring rate continues at what it's been here lately, that, you know, he'll probably score the same amount of points or more than he did last year, with significantly more assists, which is showing his growth and development on the offensive end of the floor. You know, he's been playing well, but they've got good guards too. They got Hogard, like I said, they've got lots of other guys that can score it. They have scored it at a high clip and are also getting a lot of steals. So we have to take care of the ball, like I said.
Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, just kind of going back to your opening, you're talking about avoiding a repeat of last week. Have you liked the approach in practice, or do you want to see maybe more?
Did I like the what?
The approach in practice from the guys.
The start of it wasn't great, but we got it right. We got it right pretty quick. So I personally like to see them start it off great on their own. But like I've told them before, if they can't do that, I'm not going to let it be a bad practice. So it turned out to be a great practice. It just took a little longer than it should have.
Katie. Saturday was a tie game with about 5 minutes left, and 2 minutes later we were up 9 after the threes from Chris and LeBaron. Just how big was it for them to kind of step up in those clutch moments, and then for the whole team to kind of see those are the shots you want guys to take in those type of moments?
Yeah, I think CY's had that confidence. He's worked hard throughout his career. He deserves to make big shots. He's extremely professional, hardworking, gets his shots up. It's about the right stuff. He's ultra competitive. You know, LeBaron, the work going into that game versus what he had been to prior to that was night and day, and he deserved to play well too. I mean, I told the guys, funny how that works. You get in the gym, you shoot a lot of shots, and all of a sudden the ball starts going in a lot more. So I thought, you know, LeBaron's he looked great in practice today too. The ball's going in for him still. He's been in the gym. Hopefully, he never forgets why he makes shots, and he just stays in the gym and keeps deserving the right to make shots, which I think both those guys did going into that game against Kentucky.
How's Darion been progressing this week ahead of tomorrow's game?
He's doing more and more every day. We did more today than, you know, he's still not doing everything in practice, so he'll probably be questionable. We'll see where he's at tomorrow. I mean, again, this is one of those injuries that if you bring him back too fast, it could be season-long, lingering, never 100%. And with the way he plays, he's got to be explosive, athletic, attacking around, you know, flying around, making plays. Like, he's just not going to be great if he's got like a lingering injury that's keeping him from being explosive. So he's doing more and more. He's antsy to play, but again, we're not going to be stupid and bring him back too early and have him being injured the rest of the year.
Yeah, this Vanderbilt team, you talked about the turnovers. Their turnover rate is pretty similar to what Ole Miss's was. I mean, what specifically are you trying to have your guys do differently in terms of learning from facing a defense that can turn you over that well?
Yeah, they do it a lot differently than Ole Miss, but you are correct, and we had an issue against Ole Miss. So we're showing them how they're turning teams over. We're showing them what we can't try to do. Try to do certain things that works against some other teams that won't work against these guys. And hopefully, with an intensity level and a focus that comes with playing conference games, that should come with playing conference games. It wasn't there last week. Hopefully it's there, and with that, knowing what we have to do on the offensive end, we don't turn the ball over like we did a week ago.
In general, what's it like really preparing for a team that's kind of had a massive turnaround, but also big changes in personnel the last time that you played?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Like, we've also had not nearly the turnaround they've had because they had coaching change, but I think it's college basketball in general. They have a lot heavy turnaround on a lot of teams. So, you know, over half our guys playing haven't played Vanderbilt before. So they haven't played for Alabama before. So, you know, for the guys that have been here, you know, we got to lock in to guard their personnel, and it's not like there's a few teams, you know, Tennessee got the same coach the whole time we've been here. Auburn's had the same coach, you know, some of the better coaches in the country that have been pretty consistent at the places they've been. Our guys that have been here know what they're going to be about. But, you know, some of the personnel will change, but there's a system that gets tweaked every year, but for the most part is what it is. Like, it's obviously a lot different with Vanderbilt, like you said, new coach, 11 new players. We got to lock in the personnel, and we got to study a little harder, spend a little bit more time showing them what it is and how to guard it, what it is on their defensive end, how do we avoid all the turnovers, and they just got to stay locked in. But I think you're going to see more and more of that, at least with the personnel side, with the turnover, with the transfer portal and stuff year to year from the different teams in the league.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to Katie's question with the 9-0 run at the end of the game, you had 2 10-0 runs earlier too. How big was that against, you know, an explosive offensive team like Kentucky? And what does this kind of show about just the offensive growth from this team as SEC plays going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have an explosive offense. We're figuring out our offense a little bit better. We're definitely shooting it better at 38%. That's a lot better than what we had been at 32%. But from three, that is. We're making free throws at a higher clip. So I think the guys are working to shoot it better. We also got back to getting on the old boards, which we had abandoned. You know, it wasn't on purpose. They were supposed to be going to the glass, but that comes with effort. You know, in the Old Miss game, it wasn't there, but it's nice to be able to explode quickly. You know, like Katie said, in a 2-minute stretch, and make a 9-0 run. Because against the better teams in this league, like, you're gonna have to have a couple explosive moments in the game and try to break away from them, or sometimes catch up if you've gotten behind. So it's nice to know we can do it. You know, like to see us string together more stops. You know, like maybe we're not scoring every possession in some of these runs. Maybe we're stringing together a lot of stops to make some of the runs. So let's try to continue to build our defense and get it up to help with some of the runs. Is kind of points we're trying to make. But it's nice our offense has been able to make some of these runs that they made in the Kentucky game.
Chase.
A couple times in the last couple weeks, you've mentioned that Youngblood is coming along, starting to look more like he did at USF last year. What specifically about his game do you see on the upswing?
You know, I think he's more comfortable with his shooting. I think he's more comfortable where he can move when he should be coming off ball screens, aggressive, when he should be cutting. I think he's moving better. I mean, you saw him at A&M be the best guy on Phelps. Mainly he's the more comfortable you get, you know, he's getting more comfortable with his ankle. It doesn't look like he's hesitating to me. I think in his mind, his ankle's good. Now, figure out where you can be aggressive, when you should be aggressive, how aggressive you should be. I think he's getting a lot more comfortable with that. So then, you know, we can keep building him in there, because I do think he's got a high IQ. He's about the right things. He wants to win, and he's not selfish at all. He's able to score at a high clip, but he really just cares about winning. So now he's figuring out when he should assert himself more, and when it's appropriate, where the opportunities are a little bit more.
Hey Coach, you guys scored 29 points off of free throws on only like 34 attempts. How important is that going to be going forward, knowing that you can make those at a high clip?
I think it's very important. I think it helps keep us aggressive. Like we want to attack the rim with physicality. We want to draw fouls, but I feel like sometimes when guys aren't making their free throws and they don't have that confidence, they're a little less aggressive. They don't maybe necessarily want to get to the free throw line. You know, when Grant goes 9 for 10, he can stay aggressive. When we get Diabate making free throws, he can stay aggressive. Sears is always aggressive, and the better his teammates shoot the ball, the more it opens up lanes for him to drive downhill, get to the rim. He's pretty good. LeBaron, I think it's huge if we can continue to shoot the ball closer to like an 80% clip. I think it's going to go a long ways to winning games, because if we don't make our free throws against Kentucky, we don't win that game. So, you know, we're going to continue to emphasize it, get guys in before practice, after practice, outside of practice, making free throws, make it mandatory, you know, before and after, and just continue to emphasize we got to make these things. It's the little detail things that matter that go into winning and losing.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thanks.